Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, I would like to introduce today's speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are very fortunate to have His Grace Sauri Prabhu with us. Let us welcome him in our traditional style by loudly chanting 3 times. HariBol. So, just to give a short introduction, Sauri Prabhu is a disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He joined ISKCON in the year in 1975 in Hawaii, in America, and got initiated in the year 1976. He and his wife live in a rural community in North Carolina, and which is also the home of Bhaktivedanta archives. They preserve all those original documents and artifacts that Prabhupada used, all the paraphernalia that Prabhupada used. Everything is preserved there. Prabhuji is also responsible for starting a lot of Namahatta preaching activities all over the world, and he's currently devoting his time for agriculture, simple living, high thinking. So let us once again express our thanks and gratitude by loudly chanting 3 times. HariBol, HariBol, HariBol.
Jaya Radha Madhava Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopinath Vallabha Girivardhari Gopinath Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yamuna Tera Vanachari Yamuna Tera Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopinath Vallabha Girivardhari Gopinath Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yamuna Tera Vanachari Yamuna Tera Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Janati Lilom Vishnupad Paramahansa Pribhajakacharya Asutaradasi Srimad His Divine Grace Abhaya Taranda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Gaur Premanandi So I'd like to thank the devotees here for giving me this opportunity to speak. I actually feel like, does everyone know the story of Dhruva Maharaj? Okay, Dhruva Maharaj was like a 5-year-old boy. And he became offended by his stepmother. And he ran away from home. And following the instruction of his mother, his Vartma Pradarshika Guru, he went in search of Lord Vishnu. And when one goes in search of Lord Vishnu, magic happens. So he got guidance from Narada Muni and took his mantra, and amazing things happened. So eventually Lord Vishnu appeared to him, and he didn't know what to say. He was dumbfounded. He had had no education. He didn't have any high school diploma, or he didn't go to IIT. He was just a child. So Lord Vishnu, understanding his situation, his awkward situation, put his conch shell on his head and empowered him to speak something in glorification of himself. Because this is what benefits the living entity, was when one glorifies, chants about the glories of Lord Krishna. So similarly, I feel myself incapable and not qualified, but everyone's been giving their blessings by saying HariBol, HariBol. That's like, to me, is like Lord Vishnu's conch shell on my head. So now, hopefully, I can say something. So we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 12. Okay. And text number 53 is the beginning. But I've been told 53, 54, and 55. And the first purport is actually in 57. So we'll read from 53 up to 57. But we'll chant the shloka 53 first. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 12, Creation of the Kumaras and Others. Text number 53. Tabyang Rupa Vibhagabyang Mitunang Samapadyata Tabyang Rupa Vibhagabyang Tabyang Rupa Vibhagabyang Mitunang Samapadyata Mitunang Samapadyata Tabyang Rupa Vibhagabyang Mitunang Samapadyata Tabyam Rupa Vibhagabyang Mitunam Samapadyata Tabyang Rupa Vibhagabyang Mitunam Samapadyata Tabyam Rupa Vibhagyam Tabyam of them Rupa form Vibhagyam thus being divided Mitunam sex relation Samapadyata perfectly executed. Translation. The two newly separated bodies united together in a sexual relationship. Responsibly, please. The two newly separated bodies united together in a sexual relationship. So I'll read through the next slokas and to the next purport by myself. Yastu tatra pumam sobun manu swayam bhuva swarat striyasit chatta rupagya Mahishyasya Mahatmana. Out of then, the one who had the male form became known as the Manu, named Swayambhuva, and the woman became known as Sattarupa, the queen of the great soul Manu. Tadamituna dharmena prajahyedang Babuvire. Thereafter, by sex indulgence, they gradually increased generations of population, one after another. Sachapi Satarupayang Panchapatyan Yajat Priyavrito Tanopado Tishra Kanyascha Bharata Akutir Devahutischa Pasutir Iti Samata. The son of Bharat, in due course of time, he, Manu, begot in Shattarupa 5 children, 2 sons, Priyavrata and Uttanapada, and 3 daughters, Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti. Text 57. Akutim rutaye pradat kadamaya tu madhyamam dakshadyadat prasuting cha yatta apuritang jagat. The father Manu handed over his first daughter, Akuti, to the sage Ruchi, the middle daughter. Devahuti to the sage Kardama, and the youngest, Prasuti, to Daksha. From them, all the world filled with population. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The history of the creation of the population of the universe is given herewith. Brahma is the original living creature in the universe, from whom were generated the Manu, Swayambhuva, and his wife, Shatarupa. From Manu, 2 sons and 3 daughters were born, and from them all the population in different planets has sprung up until now. Therefore, Brahma is known as the grandfather of everyone, and the personality of Godhead, being the Father Brahma, is known as the great-grandfather of all living beings. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11, text 39, as follows. Vayoryamogner varuna sasanka prajapatistvam prapitamahascha namo namastestu sahasra kritva punastabhuyopi namo namaste. You are the Lord of air, the supreme justice Yama, the fire, and the Lord of rains. You are the moon, and you are the great-grandfather. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you again and again. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 3rd canto, 12th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Creation of the Kumaras and Others. Om Agyanatramandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chaksun Militanyena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadandikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Utapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishtavangscha Sri Rupam Sargajatam Sahagana Raghunatang Vitang Tang Jajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Padijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Raghunatang Vitang Tang Jajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Padijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Raghunatang Vitang Tang Jajivam. Hey Krishna Kruna Sindho Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kansana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishubhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakapa Trubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here, in this section of the Srimad Bhagavatam, we're getting a historical account of how we all came about here today. So when things start, it's sometimes a little different than the way things end up and carry on. So it's a very, I guess you could say, unordinary situation, because in order for the population to increase, you require the male and the female. And there wasn't a female yet. So Lord Brahma, out of his own body, created a male and female. And at first, because it says they were separated. They were in one body, and then they were separated. And one had a mustache. In India, everyone likes to have mustaches for some reason. Maybe you're all getting, because the original, progenitor had a mustache. And then the females, she had breasts. Okay? And they united together in what is called a sexual relationship. Now, we hear that one can have this attraction to the opposite sex. It is actually there everywhere in all living entities. And some living entities, they can tolerate this attraction and remain single throughout their life. We have many examples here of that. There's not very many examples in the world like there are here. This is a very, very special place where devotees join the ashram and remain celibate brahmacharis for the remainder of their life. This is considered to be a great vow, not an ordinary vow, brahmacharya. And focus on making spiritual progress. But here, this is the beginning of this universe. And Brahma has a service to do of creating population, to fill up the universe with living entities. So it's starting out with a male and female coming from his own body, and then they have a sexual relationship, which is kind of would be looked down upon today. But this is a different situation. And we can understand that it's, as Srila Prabhupada said in one of the previous purports, that in his former body, which is transcendental, affection for sex life was forbidden. And Brahma therefore had to accept another body to allow himself to be connected with sex. He thus engaged himself in the matter of creation. Okay, so, and his former body transformed into fog, as previously mentioned. And then in the next purport, two bodies came out from the body of Brahma. One had a mustache and the other had swollen breasts. No one can explain the source of their manifestation. So this is a mystery that, how they came out of Lord Brahma's. You could not explain it. It's achintya, it's inconceivable. So their manifestation, and then the manifestation of Swayambhuva and Manu and Shatarupa uniting together and having some children is inconceivable. It's not like coming from some contaminated situation like would be comparable to that today. So the proof of their transcendental situation came from their progeny. They had very elevated progeny, and two sons and 3 daughters, and they gave their daughters in charity to Kadamba Muni, Daksha, and who else? Ruchi. So this is the duty of the father that has daughters, to give his daughters in charity to qualified people that have some interest in self-realization. And there's a science behind matchmaking. That if one has an inclination towards spiritual life, then the daughter has inclination toward the worship of Lord Vishnu, Krishna, then she should be handed over to some similarly qualified man. Not just any person that comes along and looks like they physically could match the daughter. And like in this day and age, what is the main consideration? How much money they make. Like that. It is like, what is your qualification? How your job? Job security. And are you going to be able to provide for my daughter? And then my daughter's children, are they going to have a nice home to live in? Like that. But the real qualification of a living entity is that he is atato brahma jigyasa. He is making some inquiry into the absolute truth. And from this inquiry, Brahmanda Brahmate Kone Bhagavanji, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. Krishna, he sends. If someone makes an inquiry about what's this whole situation I'm trapped in, because we are trapped. We are trapped in a material body, and we are trapped in a particular universe, and we're trapped in a particular country that we take birth in, and we are trapped with all the conditioning that comes with a particular country and a particular family, and everything that goes along with that. So then, when one feels trapped, you have no capabilities to escape. All right? So then you pray, what's going on here? Why am I here? How can I, this situation seems very impossible. Why is this happening? Krishna sends the Guru. And so by the mercy of Guru, by the mercy of Krishna, one gets the Guru. And by the mercy of Guru, one gets Krishna. So this is the situation of the devotee. Somehow or other, all of you made some plea in your personal lives on what is happening, how I'm in a situation, I'm trapped, how can I get out? I have no power within my own intellect to understand this, and you pray to the heavens, please help me, whatever powers may be out there. Please. I remember being like this. I was born in a very lowly family, according to the Vedas. My parents were atheists. We grew up simply, whatever feels good, you do it. And we were encouraged like this. And so as a result of atheism and atheistic upbringing, we engaged in so many abominable activities, which are not to be mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam class. All right. So therefore, if one is fortunate, we made some inquiry. What is going on? Why am I here? How, who's behind all this? And then Krishna sends the guru. So Srila Prabhupada is the guru. He came just into my life. And I was fortunate that I had nowhere to go. I was living in the big island of Hawaii. I didn't go to college. I was thinking, why should I go to college? If I haven't figured out what I want to do with my life, why should I go to college? If I require to go to college to pursue some type of occupation, I'll go. But I have not figured that out yet, so I didn't go. So what did I do? I graduated from high school. I had very bad friends. As you can see, my physique is not so robust. But I have the American mentality without the body to back it up. So I was very ambitious and wanted to be something great like all Americans, most Americans, that is the culture. But I didn't have a physique to back it up. So as a result of this, I was bullied. And this was a benediction. For this created in me a desire to get away from my situation. So when I graduated from high school, I got on an airplane. Went to Hawaii, and I went into what is called a hippie commune. Now, if anyone knows the history of ISKCON, quite a few devotees came from these hippie communes, and Srila Prabhupada actually visited one. Now, we won't get into details about what is a hippie commune. Has anyone been to Goa? Have you been to the beach there? Have you seen the hippies? Yeah. Okay, then all of you know something. All right. So this is actually a very fallen situation. It is actually less than human life. It is more like animal life. Humans, they know how to put on clothes. Animals, they don't. So hippie commune means animal. Okay? So I was there for a while, and the hippies, some of them had some inclinations towards spirituality. So we would look into different paths that were being offered to us, like the path of Christianity was there. There's also, we got some inspiration from Eastern thoughts, mostly impersonalism. And so we were looking into different options. And we were living with other young people, confused people, so to speak, and trying to figure out where to turn left, turn right, what to do. And I was living this land we were living on. We didn't even know who owned it. And it was in the jungle. And we were building houses out of, bamboo and palm fronds, and we'd cut down some logs, some trees, and get some posts, and we got some tin to put on the roof, and then we collected the water that when it rained in barrels, and that was our water. And we did gardening, and so there was a mixed modes of nature. There was ignorance and passion and goodness all together. So then one of the older hippie ladies, she was in her 40s. She was an old woman. I was probably 18, 19. She found out that this land we're living on, if you go to the government and you tell them that you want to do farming, then you get the rights to that land. So she did that. And then she made decisions of who she wanted to live with, and I wasn't one of them. So all of a sudden, there's a saying, the rug gets pulled out. And I was like, oh, what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? And so I went to a friend's house, and he had the I Ching. Does anyone know what the I Ching is? Okay, I Ching is coming from China. And you throw coins, and you get some, like if you get 3 tails, it means a solid line, and if you get, anyway, it makes it so you throw it several times, and you get a pattern, and then you look up in the book what that pattern means. And I did that. And it said, you did nothing wrong. Although you're being asked to leave, it's okay. You didn't do anything wrong. But leave, and you will find the absolute truth. So I picked some of the people that were living in this hippie commune were fallen devotees. And they never preached to me or anything, but I remember seeing one of them had the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And I remember looking at the cover. I didn't look inside. And he lived in a tree house. All right, he made a tree house and he lived in it. And he had some pictures of Krishna. And so I asked him, I'm being asked to leave. I don't know where to go, but I went and through the I Ching, and it said, leave and you'll find the absolute truth. And he said, I know where you can go. But this place, you have to follow 4 rules. So everyone knows what the 4 rules are. And I couldn't understand why anyone would follow these 4 rules. We had no understanding of why one should, we all smoked marijuana. And in those days, if you didn't smoke marijuana, what's wrong with you? So we're all influenced by our surroundings. Okay? That's why it's considered sanskaras is very important. If you come from a nice family, you have good sanskaras. I had bad sanskaras. Okay. So then they said, there's a farm, you can go. And on this, and so I said, okay, where is it? But you have to follow these 4 rules. So I said, okay, I'll go there. And after some time, I'll figure out where I'm going to go next. So I put all my things in my backpack, put some clothes on. I went up to the road, And in those days, if you wanted to get somewhere, all you had to do was go up to the road and you stick out a thumb to the cars. And they know this person wants a ride. In India, you don't stick out a thumb, you go this. Like that. So then someone picked me up, and I had the address where I'm going, and I got there it was called a one ride, and it was over an hour away. And they dropped me off, and there's a road that it was about a mile up this road. So with my hippie mind, it was May 8th, 1975. And so I remember the 8, and I was thinking, oh, you put the 8 sideways. What does that mean? How many mathematicians here? What does that mean? Infinity, right. You're all educated. Very good. I was thinking, I'm going to infinity. So I walked up there, and it was a very shabby farm. The buildings were made out of pieces of shacks that were used previously to house Filipino sugarcane workers. That was before they got the big machinery to do the work. They had labor to plant the sugarcane, harvest the sugarcane, so on and so forth. So it was right above the sugarcane fields on the big island of Hawaii. Big island of Hawaii is very beautiful. You look downhill and there's the ocean. And you look uphill and you see a volcano. And it has snow on it. And down below there's coconut trees, all on one island. All the different climates possible on the planet on one island. There's desert, there's rainforest, there's mangoes, there's apples. As you go up the mountain, you can grow apples, and you can go skiing at the very top. So I went there, and there was all men, and they were wearing saffron and having shaved heads, and I was a little surprised. I didn't know what I was getting into. But I went, and they had good food, and we got up early in the morning, and I had heard the Hare Krishna mantra before, so I had some experience of the Hare Krishna mantra, and it was just kind of, I fit in. I chanted and danced and took prasadam and, go to bed and get up early. And then they gave me these beads and a japa bag. And so I started chanting. And within 2 or 3 days, I'm chanting 16 rounds. It's not like all of you. You have jobs. And most others are brahmacharis. The brahmacharis, it's understandable. You can chant 16 rounds pretty quickly. But sometimes students or people who have jobs, it's not easy chanting 16 rounds. It can be a big challenge. Because to chant your japa nicely, it requires the early morning hours. And with Bombay hours, the culture in Bombay, I hear people have dinner at 10 o'clock at night. It's quite common here. And taking rest at midnight, or restaurants are open at 2 in the morning. It's like, how do you let's see. Yanisa sarvabhutanam, tasham jagati sangyami, yasham jagati sangyami, sanisa pasutomune. Was night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-controlled, and the time of awakening for all beings is night for the introspective sage. So Bombay culture is not spiritually oriented. And so if you're not living in the ashram and you're in the rat race of Bombay workforce, there's a good chance you're going to be up late and doing your business in other hours. So it can be a challenge, because the early morning hours you can focus and you can chant nice japa and you can pray, you can do nice sadhana. So you're very, very, very fortunate if your morning hours, early morning hours are free, and you're not engaged in late night hours, and you go to sleep early. There's a saying, early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. So we did that. And after maybe a week, I got my head shaved. Now, hippies, that's one thing they had very they had a lot of pride in their long hair. That if long hair, it's in the Bhagavatam in the 12th canto. In the age of Kali, men will grow their hair long and think themselves very beautiful. So having long hair, so then you give up your beauty, so to speak, by having your head shaved. And Prabhupada was so powerful that he went right into the middle of the hippie scene in New York and San Francisco and attracted these men with long hair, and they shaved their heads. This could not, and if you didn't have long hair, what is wrong with you? You know, just like if you didn't smoke marijuana, what's wrong with you? You know, and you get a girlfriend and you don't get married. So what? You're going to get married? That's not the hippies. So Prabhupada, just like in the Bhagavatam, first canto, someone can maybe, what is the sloka of creating a revolution in the minds of the misdirected living entities in the age of Kali. The Bhagavatam, that's what it does. It creates a revolution in the mind of living entities that are misdirected. So the hippies are misdirected. And so that's one of the symptoms. You shaved your head. You rebelled against being a hippie, basically. I'm going to start a new life. And this is like, this is the creation of the Kumaras and others. So this is a creation of a new life. All right? This is like Satarupa and Manu, the offspring of a new life. Like it's considered second birth when one, gets a spiritual master and takes up a new direction. It's a new birth, actually. And so this was a new birth for me. And this was over 50 years ago. And I never left by the mercy of the Vaishnavas and my spiritual master. And it's 50 years, It's this much time has passed. And now I'm the same age as Srila Prabhupada was when he got on the steamship Jaladuta. So following in the footsteps of my spiritual master, it's not time to stop. There's a saying in America, you die with your boots on. The cowboys. They have, so similar, Srila Prabhupada, he didn't leave this world like a retirement and you sit down and you watch TV on a couch and then, disintegrate and leave your body, in some useless state of consciousness of being a retired man and just doing nothing. So Srila Prabhupada used every ounce of his energy in his older age and to spread Krishna consciousness, to simultaneously practice Krishna consciousness and give it to others. Srila Prabhupada made a statement that's quoted in the back cover of Preaching is the Essence, that this Krishna consciousness is simultaneously beneficial for the individual and for the humanity at large. So there's in the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, in a purport, Srila Prabhupada states that just as if you are if you're seeing someone who's blind and they're heading towards a cliff, it's just decent human nature to go and get that person and stop them from, walking off the edge of a cliff. So similarly, if we see through the eyes of Shastra, Chakra Chakshush, the Srimad Bhagavatam, that we have knowledge of, we see people engaging activities, and what is their trajectory? Where are they going to be going in the future based on what they're doing now? You see, they're going to be, it's causing them suffering. They're going to, they're going to go down to lower species of life and be in so many difficult situations, taking birth over and over again. You feel like, I want to help them. They're right in front of your eyes, walking towards a cliff, and you feel, okay. So that's where the genuine preaching impetus comes about, when you come to that level. So the point is to come to that level, and like Srila Prabhupada, you undergo austerities for the benefit of others. That is tapasya. That is tapasya. For the benefit of other people, you undergo difficulties. So what did Srila Prabhupada do? He came to America. Now, another name, people ask me where I'm from. I tell them? Papi Desh. Is that proper pronunciation? Papi Desh. I'm from Papi Desh. Okay. So what did Prabhupada, where did he go? He came to New York, and right in the middle of all the hippies and the beatniks and the drug addicts and the drunkards, they were all merged together in this area where Srila Prabhupada was located, because he had no money. He was poor. And he started the Hare Krishna movement in such a situation. Some people became attracted to him. He went to, what did he do first? He went and he chanted under a tree in a park. And it attracted crowds. And some of the people became attracted to the chanting, and then they got together and they rented a storefront and gave him an apartment, all from chanting Hare Krishna under a tree. Okay? And actually, some of Srila Prabhupada's followers, they did similar things and similar results. One friend of mine, where I live in North Carolina, he's the first ISKCON devotee to go to Europe. He went there before Jamuna and Shamasundar and Guru Das and those. And he ended up in Germany because he tried to get to England, but he was a draft dodger. Can you imagine being born in America and you're being asked to fight in a war halfway around the world, and you don't understand why I'm being asked to kill these people? It's like, I'm not going there. I don't care what they say. So what did they do? They went to Canada. And Canada let them in. And this is where my friend Shivananda joined the Hare Krishna movement in 1967 in Montreal, Canada. So he was ordered by Srila Prabhupada, go to Europe. And so he went. And what did he do? He took a pair of kartals and he chanted Hare Krishna, not under a tree, but on a sidewalk in a busy city, Berlin. And some people became attracted. And so now we have so many temples in India and all over the world. And now people from all over the world are coming here. Where are y'all from? Scotland. All right, very good. Where are you from? Bonjour. I was just talking about a friend of mine. He joined the Hare Krishna movement in Montreal in '67. You're USA. I'm from North Carolina. Where are you? All right, very good. So in this way, Srila Prabhupada started the Hare Krishna movement in America. And then it sprouted. In 14 years, it went all over the world. And then it came to India last. And I'll just tell you one little story. It's not really the subject but when I first joined the Hare Krishna movement in '75 on this farm in Hawaii, Srila Prabhupada came to this farm 2 weeks after I joined. Okay? And we had a kirtan in the temple. And I'm just a new devotee. I'm shaved up and I'm wearing saffron. We got saffron cloth immediately. Okay? We didn't understand the honor of wearing saffron. And we had the kirtan, which is the musical chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. You've all seen it. Okay? And when Artik, you take the ghee lamp, and then the ghee lamp gets passed around. I went to all the devotees first, and Prabhupada last. And Srila Prabhupada, what did he do? He took his hand and didn't show any signs of disrespect. So all of you from other countries, when we have our ceremony on the altar, they offer a lamp, they offer water, they offer flowers, and then they get offered to the devotees. And they take the lamp and they take the water on their head and they smell the flowers. And I went to all the devotees first and to my spiritual master who's sitting on the seat there last, thinking that you save, just like when you have a meal, you save the dessert for last. The best thing last. So I did this not only with the ghee lamp, but with the water and the flowers. No one stopped me. Srila Prabhupada took the ghee lamp, I put the water on his head, and he smelled the flowers after everyone else smelled the flowers. So there's a saying when you take Bhakti Shastri, practical application of the knowledge in your life. So when I was in Mayapur many years later, now I'm a senior devotee. I'm a Prabhupada disciple. Okay. And in Mayapur, after the Guru Puja, and these Prabhupada disciples, they put the crown of Nrsingadev on your head. Has anyone stood in line to get yeah. So the Prabhupada disciples, they get to go first, okay? So I go in line with the Prabhupada disciples. We don't have to wait in the long line. We wait in a short line. But some young, not Prabhupada disciple, come and butted in front of me. And I'm thinking, who does this guy think he is? You know? And then I remembered how Srila Prabhupada acted when I offered the ghee lamp to him after offering the ghee lamp to everyone else first and him last. So I said, okay, calm down. So I let him go like that. So this is practical application of what we have learned from the spiritual master. Humility. Humility will take you very far. And more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, ready to offer respects to all others. So Srila Prabhupada, he exemplified these qualities. And if one has this consciousness, you can chant the Hare Krishna mantra with full affection and potency forever. So, anyway, this is the message I have. You may be a CEO and you have 5,000 workers under you. And there are some of the people in this congregation that have similar, but you see them. They get the ghee lamp and they offer it to everybody and they're humble. Ambarish. Does anyone know Ambarish? He's a friend of mine. Who am I to have a friend like Ambarish? He's Alfred Ford. His great-grandfather was Henry Ford. He's building the temple. His money is building the temple, the Vedic planetarium, the majority of it. But he's just like so humble, such a nice person, you know. And that's attractive. Pride is a very, it's not a good quality. Someone has pride, someone thinks they're better than others. It's not a favorable quality. Actually, Krishna says, I show my mercy to someone by destroying their pride. That's when Krishna gives them mercy. So if you're a big shot and you're proud, then Krishna, if he's merciful, he takes away your big position. And there's a sloka, I don't remember the Sanskrit, but Srila Prabhupada said that he was destined to be a very rich man, and Krishna was very merciful and made him a poor beggar, so to speak. Okay. I'm sorry I went off the topic. I hope everyone's okay. Does anyone have any questions or comments? I think this is the time the Bhagavatam class usually ends. Questions? Comments? Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanandi.